Welcome back to Holmes Glen News. I'm Nelson Brew. The issue of parents turning junior sporting events into an ugly scene is one that many clubs struggle to deal with on weekends. The intense drive to win and potential for parents to live vicariously through their children can result in hurling abuse at referees, opposition players, and even becoming physically abusive with other patrons. Within junior soccer leagues in Victoria, this issue has been in the public eye for some time. And whilst clubs have introduced some measures to mitigate the so-called ugly parent syndrome, it is clear that more needs to be done at a grassroots level to ensure that everybody involved in the game is safe and controlled. Roving reporter Avi Chandra has more.
Thanks, Nelson. I'm here at the Seaford United Football Club with former professional footballer and now Seaford United coach Darren Roberts. So Darren, do you know of any measures that are in place that the club has to combat this rise of the ugly parent syndrome?
To be honest, I went to my first game on Sunday to watch a friend of mine's lad, and I didn't see any evidence of aggressiveness from the parents. But from my experience in the past, there has been an aggressiveness in parents in football itself. But what they have got in place at Seaford is stewarding. You have two parents that will wear a stewarding kit and try and border the area. But other than that, we haven't really got too much in place that can cover that.
So now I've spoken to the coach, I'd like to speak to the parent in you.
Yeah.
Can you tell us about any stories you've had yourself in the past as an aggressive parent, if you've considered yourself one?
Yeah, I have been, but I've mellowed. Obviously, back in the UK, my son was playing for a team called Balmere St Michael's. And a few things got out of hand, refereeing decisions, and other parents goading other parents, and one thing led to another, where you just get carried away, and you see that red mist, and you go over the top. I got a bit aggressive to an official and got sent off the park, not just off the park, but into the car park, and he wasn't going to restart the game until I completely left the ground. So, which is a good thing. I think the referee, I didn't see it right at the time, but I think the referee was in the right of doing what he actually did. I'm not going to restart the game until, the parent leaves the ground, and, I made a formal apology to that referee. But I can see how it does lead up to stuff like that. But, whether the referees need more coaching, as in not just on the refereeing of the game, but the parenting side of things as well, how to approach that side of things as well. Maybe have a chat with both sets of parents before the game as well as the players, and maybe that can help the situation, because nobody's perfect. Referees make mistakes, they're only human. So but I think if they had an actual chat with the parents before the game, look, I'm sorry, I am going to make mistakes today, which they will, and just bear with me, and if I can try not to make mistakes, I will. But then if he has that chat, then maybe I wouldn't have been so aggressive, in my demeanour at the time.
So as a former elite player, what kind of impact do you think these screaming parents can have on the players?
Just to be positive. Players, officials, coaches, everybody makes mistakes. We're only human, So a player doesn't go across that white line and deliberately go out there to play a bad game. He does his best. Whether he's running around doing nothing, or whether he's running around tackling hard, and some parents see that tackling hard as too aggressive and too over the top. And sometimes you do get parents as in kick him, and that's got to be stamped out straight away. But I also was told that I missed a game back in the UK, and one of the parents actually physically punched another parent and knocked him out. Whereas I just think that is a total no-no. The game got stopped, but I just think these little chats or emails, notes, flyers, but I just think the best way to do it is the referee just to go to the supporters, parents, club officials before the game and say, look, this is everybody makes mistakes, and if I do make a mistake, don't verbal off, because the kids will get feedback off that, and it's all negative feedback. None of it's positive, and that's just my experience from the past.
So do you think that the issue that you mentioned of the parent hitting the other parent, do you think that's detrimental to the kids playing? Do you think that can affect a parent's going to pull his kid out of playing or no?
I think that would have affected that kid for a long time. Both sets of kids, the parent that got hit and the the kids that parent actually threw the punch. That's going to affect them for a long, long time, because you're still going to get flashbacks. I know if it was me, I'd remember that, my dad, from the past, if he'd have done that to another parent. And that's just flashbacks, and that affects, kids, in long term. And, if that's what it's all about, then, we shouldn't be playing the sport, or kids shouldn't be playing the sport. It's all about development, enjoyment, especially at 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 years of age.
Not only were we lucky enough to speak to a former professional footballer, but to further discuss this issue, we managed to get in contact with the FFV footballer and referee, Liam Attard. Liam has been playing football for over 10 years and has been a fully qualified referee for over 5 years. Despite his young age, he has a lot of experience in both fields. As a player, what experiences have you had with aggressive parents?
Well, my own parents are a bit harsh on me sometimes, and then other parents, sometimes when you come in close near the line, they may shout things at you or whatever. You're going for a tackle too hard on one of their own kids or one of their teammates, and start getting a bit more aggressive, and sometimes the ref has to step in and take charge.
So as a referee, what experiences have you had with aggressive parents?
Well, just the general, I'd assume that most referees go through it. Standard abuse, just getting the calls wrong, even if you haven't got it wrong, or parents that, they don't really know the rules, or it's maybe their kid's first year playing or so, and just start shouting things at you, like, oh, that wasn't offside or whatever, when sometimes, as I said, they don't really know the rules. And a lot of parents are coaches as well, because in the junior levels they don't really hire coaches that are professional or whatever, so a lot of parents step in and you do cop a lot of abuse for them. Also, when calling off a game sometimes like that, you get the old comments like, oh, I used to play in that weather and stuff like that, it's fine. But, I have the liability as a ref that if someone gets their leg broken, it's on me.
So as a referee, do you feel like the attacks can be personal?
Oh, not really. It's just, I guess everyone goes through the motions, during the game. Everyone wants to win and stuff like that, so it's kind of just almost a natural way, take it out of the ref if no one else do.
After getting perspective from a referee, we thought we'd speak to one of the most scrutinised positions in the game, the striker.
As a player who's been previously abused by aggressive parents in the past, I feel like it definitely has a negative aspect on you as a player. You end up overthinking everything, you don't play as well, you're not relaxed. It takes the fun out of things, so instead of enjoying the game and being able to play at your best, you're stressing about what other people on the sidelines are thinking. So I think it really can ruin a game for people. It takes the fun out of it, and that's why people play, especially at junior levels and things like that. To be honest, I don't think the FFV or the FFA could implement anything to stop parents from abusing kids. It's more on the parents, and if they've got that sort of side in them and they're not really an adult, they're going to keep doing it. I guess you could implement security guards and things like that, so if it does take place, the parents are able to be removed safely and easily. Well, at my current club, Sky United, there is pretty much no implementation of security guards or things like that, any measure to stop parents from being violent or abusive. Every now and then one parent will chuck on a vest and pretend to be a security guard, but they're not qualified or anything, and I think most players and other parents wouldn't actually feel confident in them being able to resolve any issue if there was one. So,
Avi Chandra with that report. From that, we can see that this current trend of abusive and disruptive parents affecting junior games is set to continue, and that not enough is being done on game day by the leagues to contain these potentially dangerous situations. From a referee perspective, it is clear that more training in dealing with such violent and confrontational circumstances is needed if there is going to be any respite for obnoxious parents at grassroots level soccer. After the break, we have celebrity news, finance and weather for the weekend.